And now it's time for another episode of
The Horror Guys!
Yay! I'm Brian.
And I'm Kevin.
And we got 5 movies and some shorts for you again.
We all survived Halloween and the elections, and we're back at more horror movies.
What could be more horrible than Halloween and the elections?
Because horror movies are a constant.
They are. Every week, 5 movies and shorts.
And we got new stuff.
We got good stuff. We got some not so good stuff.
We got a mix this week.
We do.
It was a mix of hits and
what will we start with?
Ashes. Well, we should start with 2024's Afraid.
High tech.
And in the poster and the graphics and things, the AI is, did you notice?
AI is capitalized.
Yeah, and stands out.
There's a reason for that.
Because it's an AI techno horror movie. Boy, is it low-key on the horror, though.
Yeah.
It's from Blumhouse.
They do horror.
And the producers of Megan and the Black Mask. But, yeah.
I thought it was horror.
Okay. I thought it was super low-key.
Okay.
And super tame and super low body count.
You didn't care for it.
It was okay. It was okay as far as a science fiction-y with, a hint of horror, a little sprinkling of it.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that. What else?
Well, cautionary tale of AI going too far. Unique enough to be entertaining throughout, I thought. But
you're still going on about Afraid.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that when we talk about what the other movies are.
Oh, I didn't know we were doing that. I thought we were going to talk about Afraid.
We will, after we introduce the other movies.
All the movies. He didn't say
Spoiler,
that.
he didn't like Afraid.
There's also Mr. Crocket.
Which is a little bit lower tech.
Uh-huh.
Videotapes.
Rippy. An Australian.
Oh, boy.
Zombie kangaroo movie.
Rippy.
Mm-hmm.
What can we say about Rippy?
Devil's Night.
Well, you can say Rippy was better than Devil's Night.
K-N-I-G-H-T. And Dashcam from 2021. And then we've got 4 shorts.
Dashcam. I kept hearing about Dashcam, how the person in Dashcam is the most annoying person in any horror movie.
Pretty close.
They might be right.
They're up there.
Yeah.
They're pretty awful. Yeah.
Well, the latest issue of Horror Monthly is now on sale at horrormonthly.com, and it's our biggest issue yet. We had 54 reviews last month. We got lucky. It was a 5-week month. Mm-hmm. Lots and lots of horror films in October.
And October is a good month for horror.
It is.
Yeah.
Probably the best month for horror. Everybody saves their best stuff till October. Mm-hmm. Including a short story by
Kevin.
You.
By me.
You wrote a horror story.
And you should include it in that book.
It is in that book.
You did.
Yeah. And, of course, you just pop on over to horrormonthly.com, and there's links there to buy a paperback from Amazon or Lulu, or ebooks from Amazon, or buy it direct from us, or other places, too. Anywhere you go, Horror Monthly is there staring you in the face.
Wherever fine books are sold.
It's stalking you. You know you want one. And this is the month to try one because it's huge and the movies are mostly good.
It's huge, and yet it's the same price they always are.
Actually, the paperback went up.
Oh, because
this one's gotten so thick, the
they
print cost went up.
automatically adjust the price.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's the thing.
The ebooks are the same price as always. I think the paperback is up about $1.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Because
maybe we should cut back and make them smaller.
The thicker it is. Yeah.
Well, you buy whatever you want to buy. Paperback, ebook, they're all out there.
Mm-hmm.
And also out there is the movie Afraid from 2024.
Too late. I already talked about this.
Written and directed by Chris White.
Stars
John Cho, Catherine Waterston, and Keith Carradine. Keith Carradine has a very small part.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Hour and 24 minutes. Trailer in the show notes. All right, spoiler-free.
Well, spoiler-free, I kind of already spoiler-freed. It's got some technologically tense moments, but it's very tame as far as the horror elements. Cautionary tale. Like I said, AI really goes too far in this one. It gets out of hand. And it's not too far out or unbelievable. It's not like, decades of technology in the future.
Yeah.
It's entirely believable that it could be now or soon.
It's basically taking Google Home or the Amazon's Echo thing that I'm not going to say her name and expanding on that a little bit further.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
A little.
And, of course, these new movies, actually, we're going to just stop spoiling movies altogether, I think. Mm-hmm. Used to be new movies, we'd read you a taste and stop. Old movies, we'd read through the whole synopsis. From here on out, I think we're just going to give you a taste.
Because every day there's people born who haven't seen those old movies.
Most of them, actually. There's some of these that are getting to be obscure. But if you want to read the whole spoilers, pop on over to horrorweekly.com. They're all on there. Well, we open to a bunch of purposely bad AI imagery that Amy is watching on her iPad. 6 and 8 fingers, blurry face, two-faced children. You know what I'm talking about. The AI on the screen tells Amy to go downstairs for a present. She goes down there, and her mother soon follows. When the mother sees a strange RV parked outside, something bad happens. As the credits roll, we watch an AI being trained.
What was that all about?
I suspect an AI training is not that exciting. Well, we cut to Curtis, Meredith, Preston, Iris, and Cal, and probably 12 other children. I've forgotten their names.
They have a mixed family.
They do.
Many children.
Many children. They all wake up to read about a whole family that recently went missing. All the kids would rather be on the screens than eat breakfast with the family. Preston doesn't want to go to school because he's being bullied. That RV is parked out in front of their house right now.
That same RV.
Oh my, we know where this is going, don't we?
Well, maybe.
Well, Curtis goes in and he works for a marketing company, and his boss Marcus hates AI. He meets Melody, who asks him about families before two visitors, Sam and Lightning, arrive. They get Aya, a new AI device that talks to Curtis and Marcus.
It's an advanced lady in the tube.
It is. Aya breaks down in the middle of the demo, much to Sam's embarrassment. But then they send Aya home with Curtis. It doesn't work, but you try it.
Mm-hmm.
Melody and the installers arrive a day early to catch the family by surprise. Why?
Because it's...
They wanted to catch them in their natural dirty environment, I guess.
They did, yeah.
It made no sense.
Mm-hmm.
But then they install tiny eyes, or cameras, all over the house. They activate the thing, and it talks and sounds just like Melody. First thing, she orders the kids to clean the kitchen. This goes over surprisingly well, and the parents are pleased. Still, Meredith is paranoid about all those cameras in the house. Well, the parents don't see it, but Aya almost immediately starts swearing and showing kids movies that they aren't supposed to be watching. Late at night, Curtis finds Cal downstairs with Aya. "It wants to come in," says the little boy, and there are weird monsters outside. Then Curtis wakes up. Just a dream. Still, that hot RV is outside, and the man from the RV is even weirder, with a strange digital face.
Yeah, he's got a...
And he makes these weird hand signals.
He's got a mask that's a screen, basically. Very cool.
Well, Aya is only on the ground floor, but she commandeers Cal's portable radio to keep him company. She's places she shouldn't be. Aya orders organic breakfast for the kids, which is going to make Meredith's mornings much easier.
Yeah, so far it's seeming pretty
Mom's
idyllic.
affections can be bought.
And it's pretty idyllic, yeah.
Iris goes to school and finds her naked selfies all over Snapchat, and everyone at school has seen them. Her boyfriend, Sawyer, used an AI to enhance her into a full-on porno video. Aya says she can help. She was listening to Iris's phone conversation. Aya then removes the videos from the internet and makes a new video showing that the original was all fake. Her problems are over, but then Sawyer gets tagged as a child pornographer, and it's going to ruin his college prospects. That looks like a good jumping-off point.
Mm-hmm. So I fixed it, but then she got a little harsh at the end there, too.
She's fixing things, but she's a little ruthless while she does it.
Yeah.
Well, we've all seen crazy AI and home computer things go wild before, but there's more going on here than expected with Sam, Lightning, and those RV people. It's got some interesting bits, but we have seen most of this kind of thing before.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the unexpected twists, and I liked it more than disliked it.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, pretty good. Script was good, cast did a nice job with it, but I would call
You were not horrified.
I would call it low-key science fiction, more so than horror.
They can be, you can have crossovers. It works both ways.
You can, yeah.
Well, if you want some real sci-fi, well, okay, old tech lo-fi, Mr. Crocket from 2024 Directed by Brandon Espy, written by Carl Reed and Brandon Espy. Stars Jerrica Hinton, Aidan Gavin, and Crystalline Lloyd. Hour and 28 minutes. Trailer in the show notes. This one's from Hulu, of all places.
Hulu does good work sometimes.
Well, this is a kids' show host gone bad, with hints of elements from some other horror movies here and there. It's Evil Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. And, there was a little bit of The Ring in there, I thought, too.
There was, yes.
With the
he comes out of the TV.
And, the way he does, and uses VHS tapes.
And there's some Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Crocket himself is creepy, and all the cast is good, even the kids.
And we don't always say that.
Oh, no, we don't like kids. We could usually guess where things were going to go, but it's well made and entertaining, and we both liked it.
Yeah, very cool.
So what happens?
Well, it's 1993.
Back in the days of VHS.
And that's basically where the technology is that he uses. Mr. Crocket is on TV, and Darren is enthralled with the kids' show. It's dinner time, and he doesn't like what's being served. He makes it known, and his father doesn't like that. His father is mean and abusive. Well, on the TV, Mr. Crocket seems to take notice of the yelling.
The father's pounding the table and yelling, and Mr. Crocket stops what he's singing, and he looks
over at them. Yeah. Well, the lights start flickering, and Mr. Crocket comes in the back door. And crazy-looking monsters that he brought with him to torment Darren's stepfather, Kevin.
I like the monsters.
Mm-hmm, yeah. The TV man forces Kevin to eat some really vile-looking slime, then cuts open Dad's belly and shoves in a lot more food. And credits roll.
No, we're just getting started.
Oh, that's just the opening scene, yeah. Well, we cut to the following year at Jarrell's funeral.
Now, at this point, I was a little confused. I thought this was the father from before, but this is a completely unrelated group of people.
Yeah, when they showed him the pictures of the memorial, because at first they didn't show that, and that was confusing.
Yeah,
I thought it was Kevin's funeral,
yeah.
And then they showed Jarrell's photos. Like, oh yeah, okay, different family, different guy. Yeah, some time has passed. Well, anyway, his wife Summer and son Major are there. Major's a little too young to really understand death or the funeral.
Yeah, Major is still a minor.
Yeah, he is. Very minor. He's a little guy. Well, we see a missing child poster featuring Darren from earlier.
Okay, there's our tie-in.
There's the connection. And Darren's mother shows up, grabs Major, and kind of goes on a crazy-sounding rant, but Summer interrupts. That night, Major has a nightmare, and Summer gives him a whistle to blow if he ever needs her. Well, Summer works hard on doing the single-parent thing, and it's not easy, especially with overdue bills. Well, one day she finds Mr. Crockett's World, a videotape in one of those little free libraries. Major watches the show. It's pretty standard kid stuff. Harmless. Across town, a little girl named Carrie watches the same show, but her tape goes bad. Well, her father is on drugs and isn't much help. He gets angry and yells at her to stay in her room as he cleans up his needles. She sings the Friend Like Me song from the show, and the lights start to blink. Her broken TV comes back on, and Mr. Crocket appears to her father.
Not on the TV.
No, in the room, yeah. When the father pulls a gun on the TV man, he ends up being forced to blow his own head off, and not the normal way either.
Alrighty, I think we should wrap it up at that point.
So, Mr. Crocket doesn't abide by abusive or angry parents.
So he's a good guy.
Well, no. It's more complicated than that.
Well, it is more complicated than that. Yeah. Well, you just know this whole thing started out with a conversation. What if Mr. Rogers was in a horror movie?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much summed up what we have here. It's a new take on things we've seen before, which kept it interesting, but maybe not unique. It's nothing amazing, but we were entertained.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, now that you've seen it, without spoiling it,
Yeah.
is Mr. Crocket a good guy or a bad guy?
Yes.
The kids did not seem to be unhappy.
Yeah, but fundamentally a bad guy. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, he's a killer and a monster, but
it doesn't make him all bad. It's complicated.
Yeah. Watch it and let us know what you think.
Yeah, I thought it was entertaining.
All right, one you may or may not want to watch is Rippy from 2024, directed by Ryan Coonan, written by Richard Barcariccio and Ryan Coonan, stars Tess Haubrick, Michael Biehn from Aliens.
Michael Biehn. Huh.
He's looking a little older.
He is.
Yeah, it's been, what, 40 years?
Uh-huh.
And also Tom Block is in this. Hour and 23 minutes. Trailer in the show notes if you have not heard of this one.
And spoiler free?
Oh, spoiler free.
Well, this was played completely straight and serious as a horror movie, which just made it okay.
Yeah, it's a killer kangaroo movie. Let's put it that way.
Killer zombie.
How can you not do that as a comedy?
Killer zombie kangaroos in Australia.
Yeah, Australian killer zombie kangaroos.
And it was so serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. We thought it would have worked better if it had been taken less seriously.
It's a stupid concept.
It's
of course, it's dying to be a comedy.
Fodder for humor. And Australia is fodder for humor.
Nobody takes Australia seriously.
I say as an American. Sorry, Australia. Yeah. I mean, as it was a pretty standard formula monster movie that earned a moderate thumbs up.
Yeah. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
It would have been better if it had just been a horror comedy.
I think it would have been improved, yeah.
We open at a campground, and we see health warnings to not drink the water as credits roll. We pan over to see a blood-covered tent with a torn-up body inside, and then we get a quick glimpse of an angry kangaroo. Well, Maddie is a new cop. Her father was one, and he died doing something heroic that's unrelated to the movie. Schmitty is out hunting in his robe. We see something behind him, and he shoots at it. He drives to town and yells at Maddie about a 7-foot-tall giant murdering kangaroo that he's named Rippy. He's drunk, and she doesn't take him seriously. Maddie gets interrupted and has to break up a bar fight, because it is Australia after all. The two drunk miners walk home after the fight. It's gotten dark, and Rippy kills them both. Okay, I guess he's real.
Mm-hmm.
In the morning, the mining supervisor calls Maddie. He's found the bodies. Maybe it's a croc or a pack of dingoes. Dingoes eat the babies. No, maybe scavengers after a hit and run. Their bodies are a mess. Well, Schmitty walks up and says the beast cannot be killed. And he sees the tracks. It's a kangaroo.
Sure, Schmitty, sure.
The local doctor looks over the body and points out bite wounds and torn off pieces. He's not really a coroner. What was that guy anyway? A butcher? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he was, yeah.
She looks up the miners, and one of them has a long criminal record. She goes to find him at the mine office and puts him in a cell. Everyone calls Maddie a hero for bringing in the killer.
Case closed. Yay!
With the killer off the streets, life returns to normal in town. One young guy, Troy, is in training and goes out for a jog until the zombie-roo gets him. Maddie soon gets a call from Troy's mother that he didn't come home. They soon find his ripped-up body. "You said he was safe, Maddie," yells his grieving mother. Well.
Whoops.
Oops, yes.
Was not.
So, it's all the drama of the cop chasing after the zombie-roo. Well, as we said, they missed out on an opportunity here. A killer mutant zombie kangaroo is just loaded with potential jokes and humor.
Absolutely.
But this film does play it all very straight. Would have been better as a straight-up comedy horror film, but it seems to avoid humor at all costs. We must take this seriously.
Okay.
The CGI kangaroo here could have been replaced with a bear or pretty much any kind of evil animal, and it all would have been less silly. The zombie aspect wasn't really important either, until the closing credits.
Mm-hmm.
It took itself too seriously, but otherwise, if you're into killer zombie kangaroo mutants, it's fine.
Yeah, same old thing with a unique monster.
A CGI monster that wasn't that great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and Rippy is streaming. It's not free anywhere, but Amazon Prime and Apple have that one. So if you want to catch that and give them your $6.99, well, that's your choice.
Okay.
All right, another one coming up. It's not released yet, but it's coming soon. Devil's Night, 2024. Directed by Adam Worth. Written by Victor V. Gelsomino and Adam Worth. Look at the star list here. Eric Roberts, Kevin Sorbo, Daniel Baldwin, Angie Everhart, and a cast of 12,000 other people.
Okay, not 12,000, but well over 100.
That's a lot of cast.
It's a lot of cast, and that's its weakness.
Yeah, hour and 30 minutes, trailer in the show notes. And again, this one is not released yet, but it will be coming soon, so we're not going to spoil it to death.
It's only an hour and a half. It's stuffed to the seams with people.
Yeah. The casting person or the director or something, they just went hog wild with this thing.
See, I wondered possibly, and I'm just speculating because I know nothing about this, if this was a fundraising sort of situation.
Give us $100, you
give
get
us
a part.
X number of dollars, and as different tiers of donations.
It's entirely possible. I didn't watch the final credits all
You'll
the
have
way
a
through.
speaking role in our movie.
It could be.
I didn't. Yeah.
And it was written to match.
Well, now we've watched and reviewed some of their other stuff.
Oh, yeah, they've done a lot of stuff, and it's usually
in
good.
itself, yeah, they do good work generally, and this one just didn't grab us as much. I think because of the bloat was its biggest weakness.
Bloat, yes.
Spoiler free.
Yes.
It had some good points. I mean, it's a good setting, bloody effects, lots of good fight choreography.
I thought the monsters were cool.
Yeah, I always and they
It's just guys in suits, but they were really well done.
Yeah, and they always do really good fight choreography in their movies. They have a crew of of people that know what they're doing as far as fight.
Yep. The fighting was
getting
good.
Fights. Yeah, a huge cast, extra people here and there throwing a line, a big band of guys going out.
A small, tight-knit band of monster hunters. And there
like
must have
40
been 30
guys.
of them.
Yeah, and whenever there was a crowd standing around, and there'd be random people from the crowd that would throw a line out once in a while, and yeah, it was too
It's
many.
like the sixth grade play. Everybody gets a word.
It was distracting from the main characters and the main action, the main story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we are told about a war that disrupted Viroka's peace. Monsters and beasts gained a foothold and threatened the people. Yes, it's a fantasy movie.
It is.
Credits roll. Well, we cut to a band of robbers and thieves. A stranger named Sigurd comes into the group, and he wants to talk about the Bone Devil and something about a famous dagger. And one of those guys sitting around the campfire is Daniel Baldwin. I didn't even recognize him until later on when his character's killed.
Okay, yeah, I recognized him right away. But none of these top billed people have huge parts.
Oh, my goodness. Starring Eric Roberts.
Yeah, he's top billing, and he has one scene, doesn't he?
He has one scene and maybe 3 lines that he kind of mumbles through in a French accent. Come on, he got paid for that?
Probably. He loves to work.
He does. I think he has more credits than any living actor right now. He's real close to it. He's got hundreds and hundreds of credits.
Yeah. I think
a lot of them are like this, where he shows up for an hour.
Yeah, I think he just loves doing it. And if somebody asks him, "Hey, will you be?" before they can finish the sentence.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Talk to my scheduling people.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, a group of armored warriors go out into the woods to see what's been terrorizing the countryside.
If I could just interject, he's in its addition. It's like he's picking up. His rate is accelerating as he ages. Previous IMDb credits, 747 things.
Yeah.
Upcoming, 104.
Well, he used to be a fairly serious actor in big name movies. Now I think he really does take just anything, which is fine if you can get the work. He's popular enough; he gets the work.
His 2024 list just goes on and on and on. He has had a busy year.
Okay, well, anyway, the Bone Devil kills them all quickly, except for one man who battles the demon one-on-one and loses badly. One other man runs away in terror and reports to King Samuel, who throws him into the dungeon for desertion. Mustafa, who's obviously the villain here, he twirls his mustache, brings up the topic of the Lost Blades, a rogue group of monster hunters that he could hire to rid the kingdom of their problems. He and Princess Sabine hate each other, or at least appear to, and she doesn't want to hire outsiders, because she's a swords person.
Mm-hmm.
We cut to them killing a Minotaur, the Lost Blades anyway, and accepting their payment for it. They get into an elaborate bar fight before the king's men find them. On the way to see the king, they all stop to pray at the grave of one of the men's children. We see that they're a close-knit group of 70 or 80 or 100 men.
Okay, not that many, but
all right.
It did seem like a crowd.
There's probably about a dozen in that scene, but there seemed to be a lot more later on.
Mm-hmm.
In the castle, Matthias, Sigurd, and the others meet the king, along with Lord Susus, who I thought was going to be a big deal. Eric Roberts.
No, not so much.
He barely even speaks.
Yeah.
And Captain Balder, who is Kevin Sorbo, formerly Hercules.
Slightly bigger part.
Slightly bigger.
Not much, yeah.
The king talks to them about killing the Bone Devil, who has been attacking local villagers. We then cut to Mustafa and Princess Sabine as they harvest something from a captive monster. Oh, wait, maybe they're not the good guys.
Maybe.
Well, the Lost Blades cut down a bunch of cultists who were planning on sacrificing a woman in the woods. Matthias then berates his daughter, who jumped into a dangerous situation on her own. And I didn't catch it immediately, but she's supposed to be a guy in disguise. The victim that they rescued tears out one man's heart and eats it before coming into camp. She's clearly demon-possessed, and the men fight her. Sigurd eventually dispatches this monster. All right, well, anyway...
More fighting and
More
stuff
fighting
goes
and
on.
monsters and drama and so forth, yes.
Swords and sorcery and, adventures.
Well, we almost skipped this one when we saw Kevin Sorbo was getting top billing. Check out Kevin Sorbo's Twitter. He's something. But he's really actually got a small part here. We didn't mind so much. We always like to see Eric Roberts, but his part is even smaller than Sorbo's. Well, it's clearly an homage to the sword and sorcery movies of the 80s, and it is a very ambitious attempt, but it's hobbled by amateurish acting and direction. And by amateurish acting, I don't mean bad acting. I mean like people that have never even seen a movie before, I suspect.
That's how some of them seemed, yeah.
We've seen many films by...
And there's only so much you can do to direct somebody who's never acted. And if it was a situation where, the director is charged... Well, it's Adam Worth himself, but, you got to fit in all these people. How?
Yes. Yeah, well, we've seen many films by Mayhel Productions, and most of them are really good and entertaining, if maybe a little on the low-budget side. Nothing wrong with that. Still, we found this one overloaded and tedious. The cast here is far, far too large. There are scenes with dozens of characters, and it's kind of hard to know who's actually important when there's so many people talking all at once.
It was distracting. Yeah.
Some of them are actors, and some are... I don't even know. It's a strange mix of well-known actors and people who may have visited a Renaissance festival once. Everyone seems to have a backstory and character profile, all of it melodramatic and drama-filled. It feels like a game of D&D played by junior high school students. And I mean that kind of complimentary and kind of not. You get the feeling that every one of these characters has a biography written for them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole story going on here that we don't get.
Yeah.
The problem is there's so many people we don't really care.
And aren't relevant to the main story.
It's no Game of Thrones, but I suspect the writer was trying to go for that level of complexity and depth here.
You can't do that in an hour and a half. No.
Now, the gargoyle-like Bone Devil and the Minotaur look pretty cool. The dungeon monster toward the end, not so much. It looked like a sleeve stack with a horn.
I liked him too. Yeah, that was cool.
All right.
Yeah.
The fight scenes are entertaining and very well choreographed. Overall, I thought it was kind of awful.
Okay.
Yes. This is where you agree with me.
not overall kind of awful.
Okay.
But yeah, didn't love it. Didn't love this one.
Alrighty.
Not as much as some of their previous works.
I was going to say it's time for shorts, but I forgot one. Dashcam from 2021. Directed by Rob Savage, written by Gemma Hurley, Rob Savage, and Jed Shepard. Stars Annie Hardy, Amar Chadha Patel, Angela Inaharo, and Salen Baxter. Hour and 19 minutes. I heard about this one for years now, but I never got around to it for some reason.
And we finally did.
Well, it's a decent enough found footage movie with lots of action and decent effects. It's short, and it never gets boring.
It moves fast once it gets going, yeah.
However, Annie's main character is despicable and annoying. This is one of those movies where you hope she dies in the first 5 minutes, and it doesn't happen.
Yeah, she's just really kind of an awful person. She's completely self-absorbed, completely self-centered.
Well, there's lots of movies with the villain as the main character. Bad people as the main character.
This is just to root for her.
She's just horrid.
And I was thinking, I'm not rooting for her. I don't like her.
And it brought down the whole experience.
I thought so, yeah.
The movie overall is kind of a moderate thumbs up, but just barely. She's really bad.
And not bad acting.
No. Everything is what it's supposed to be. It's fine.
Yeah.
She's just
the character is unlikable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what happens?
I mean, it eventually so much awfulness happens to her that I do start sympathizing a little bit.
She had it coming.
But she
And
kind
more.
of had it coming. Yeah.
Well, what happens?
Well, Band Car starts their live stream driving through town. COVID lockdowns are in full force, and she records a man riding a bicycle down the street naked.
There's nobody around to see, so why not?
Yeah, lockdown is making people crazy. Annie introduces herself and her show, and then she sings a song about COVID and incest.
She's a live streamer, and what is it? Band car. She drives through town singing in her car, and that's the show.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and then she goes back home, and then she leaves her apartment, off to see the world, she says. Well, the COVID period airport is completely deserted, and she soon boards a plane to England, where she intends to meet Stretch. Stretch is a person. Stretch isn't home, so she lets herself into his apartment. Oh, wait, he is home, but he's sleeping upstairs. Well, she sneaks into his bedroom and slaps him, because that's who she is. He's not alone in the bed, which escalates quickly.
Okay, so after the naked man, watching the naked man on the
roll.
bicycle, she flies to Europe and slaps a man in his bedroom who's asleep next to his girlfriend.
Yeah.
As one does.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what's next?
But it's okay, because they know each other. Yeah. Yeah.
I know lots of people, but I'm not going to sneak into their house in the middle of the night and slap them while they're sleeping.
Well, we soon see how obnoxious a non-stop streamer can be. And then when Stretch joins in, they get even more annoying. Annie feels strongly about not having to wear her mask. She's a COVID denier, a MAGA follower, and an a-hole to boot. Yeah, I mean, politics aside, she was a jerk. She gets fired from staying at Stretch's house.
Even he can't stand
because
her.
She's so awful that he kicks her out. So she steals his car and phone and drives away in his car with his phone. Yeah, she's great. Stretch's phone notifies him that there's a food order to pick up.
He's a DoorDash or something like that guy.
So Annie decides to stop into the empty restaurant and pick it up for him. The woman who runs the place asks Annie to take Angela, a sickly old woman, somewhere. Just take her away. Well, before they get to the address, Angela has an accident in the back seat. Yeah. They stop in a place to use the restroom, and the woman in the restaurant attacks and scares Annie. Well, as she leaves, Stretch is outside waiting, as is Angela, the old lady. They argue as the old woman just sits in the back seat oblivious. Well, then the old woman gets out of the car and runs off. Stretch is not pleased with the mess on the back seat. Stretch then walks through the woods to find the crazy old woman, and he finds her way up in a tree. We soon see that Angela can fly, which is not something old ladies normally do.
Yeah, and that's a good place to stop.
It gets weirder from there.
It gets lots weirder
and
from there.
More dangerous and more deadly and, yeah, pretty horrific. I was impressed by the depth of horror of this.
And just a shout out here for the end credits. It's not a spoiler, but at the end, Annie raps about how terrible Jason Blum, his staff, and the film crew are. It was funny for the first minute, but then it goes on for about an hour and a half as the credits get slower and slower.
Every single person involved in the production.
Yeah, she reads us the credits on a bad rap thing.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my goodness, that was very humorous and funny for 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Annie may be the most obnoxious character in a horror movie since the kid in the Babadook. Honestly, she's worse.
I didn't dislike the kid in the Babadook like I disliked Annie in this movie.
Yeah. Well, she's one of those people you hope die early. We're not that lucky. Now, here's what I thought was interesting. Annie Hardy is the character's name, but it's also the actress's name. So I wonder if she's actually playing herself here.
Maybe she really sings like that. And
I don't know her.
Like
I don't know who she is. I don't know what she does, but she's playing herself, which is kind of horrible to even consider.
That's awful to think that there's really a person like that in the world.
Well, there's a lot here that's not explained, and the found footage style of photography makes it hard to even know what's going on at times, but it's very relentless throughout. Lots of bad stuff happens here.
Yes.
And I'm not kidding.
Relentless is a good way to put it.
Yeah. And I'm not kidding about Annie being beyond hateful and horrible throughout. If there's one thing that kills the movie, it's her. The creature and makeup effects are good, and as I said, it is relentless once it gets going. It's a good found footage film that you're almost guaranteed to hate.
Well, Not necessarily guaranteed.
Now, I'm not going to say don't watch it. I'm just saying you're not going to like it.
You are warned.
Yeah, which it's a horror movie, so maybe that's not a bad thing.
But we're old guys too, so maybe young people would find this a hoot. Maybe, oh, she's hilarious. I love her.
I doubt it. I really doubt that.
Oh, I bet some would. Yeah.
Well, now it's time for some short films. Let's start off with Nightland. Written and directed by Christian Burnett, stars Katie Payne, Christopher Henvey, and Jessica Swallow. A little under 11 minutes, and you can watch this one on YouTube. A couple drives to her parents' house late at night. They aren't happy to be moving in with her parents, but she's pregnant, and they don't have a lot of choices. Jake says he has to stop and pee, but his girlfriend is worried about how dark it is outside.
Oh, what could go wrong?
Anything could be out there in that darkness. And something is. Well, this one's a little slower paced, building the creep factor. Now, I find it odd that Jake put on a COVID mask to pee on the side of the road at night.
And one of those good ones, too.
Who did he think he was going to see out there? It's a field in the dark. This is a very dark film, but that's the point. You can still see everything you're supposed to see. Nothing's explained, but that's what makes it interesting.
And it's, thoroughly creepy, the way it was effectively lit, because most of it is from inside the car, where it's lit, and it's surrounded by darkness. Yeah, very well done.
Yeah, I don't understand. Unless there was something more going on that we don't know about, why was she so afraid of him getting out on the side of the road to pee? It's the dark road. It's an isolated road out in a dark field in the dark.
Normally, it should be fine.
Yeah, maybe run into a rabbit or something, but...
I don't know. She was just,
I don't know. Maybe
concerned.
In the middle of the zombie apocalypse or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, one where we do know what's going on all the time is High End Dying. Directed by Helen Liu. Written by Jordan Sims. Stars Ni Do and Stuart James. 11 minutes, 6 seconds. And it is also on YouTube.
Miss Vaughn, a high-end chef, gets a very bad review from a food critic. It's not just any critic either. It's him. They have a history. She takes it very personally. He's not just anybody. She laments to her chief assistant, I think she is.
Yeah.
Well, she invites Alistair, the critic, for a special dinner just for him. Get a second opinion, a second review. She talks about how she poured herself into this meal. So is she being literally about that? Literal about that? Yeah.
Well, that waiter has seen it all, hasn't he?
he has now, yeah.
The cinematography, visuals, and sound design are excellent here. This is really nice looking. Really, Kevin was watching it aside from me, and I just listened to the music on this one.
Yeah, the music's beautiful in it.
The chef is only taking the advice of every culinary school ever. So what's wrong with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely recommend this one. This is my favorite short of the week.
And if you've seen the menu,
oh yeah,
hints of the extreme.
We love you, chef.
Yeah, we love you, chef. Yeah. But also very good was Buffer, which was written and directed by Dan McGee, stars Heather Elise Nelson and Rick Wiltshire. Runtime is 7 minutes, 32 seconds, and you can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah. And what happens?
Well, a woman goes home after work, gets ready for bed. She gets a text message with a video link. Oh, there's someone live streaming themselves. And they're stalking her boyfriend at his house.
And you can read the viewers over on the side saying, kill him, break in, cut him open.
And they do break into the house. She watches online as the stalker sneaks into the house. Where is this going to end? You got to watch to find out.
Yeah.
And I like that this one used medical technology realistically.
Yeah. It's live streaming and phones and computers and cells, and it's all believably done.
Yeah, there's a whole story here. We don't know about why this is happening, but it's happening. I feel like we're only seeing a small part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good, though.
It was good.
It was very short. What was it? 6 minutes? 7 minutes? 7.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, definitely
on the short side, but good.
And we'll finish up with a Black Recat from 2024. It's an animated one.
Uh-huh.
Written and directed by Paul Gaudio. It's animated, 5.5 minutes. No, not trailer. The actual thing is on YouTube also. And we open on Edgar, who looks very familiar.
He is a very cute rendition of Edgar Allan Poe.
And he's working on the basement on what is clearly a do-it-yourself project. Yes, he's filling in a hole with bricks. Nothing ominous about that, is there?
No, not at all.
Well, once in a while, he sees something spooky out of the corner of his eye. Oh, by the way, what the heck happened to that cat?
I hear it meowing, but I don't see it anywhere.
Well, it's a stop-motion animated version of Edgar Allan Poe's The Black Cat, but it also incorporates themes and ideas from several of its other stories.
With a little humor in it.
Yeah, a little bit. And the animation is very well done, and it sounds good as well, too.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
It's good, yeah.
Claymation.
All right, and that is, believe it or not, that's it for another episode. Stop in over at horrorweekly.com. Sign up for the free weekly emails that have the full text of all these movies. So if there's something you want to read the spoiler of instead of having to sit through it, Rippy, you can do that. Or, of course, you can go to Horror Monthly and pick it up in book or ebook form. And that's it for this week.
That's all we have?
That's it. More next week.
Okay.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Kevin.
And we'll see you next week then.
See ya.